Good day. In this training video, we will look at managing taxes in MYOB Advanced, including the process of tax reporting to a tax agency, the closing of tax periods, and the printing of the goods and service tax return. The Taxes module allows calculation of tax amounts on each bill, invoice, and other similar documents created in the system. In MYOB Advanced, the Taxes module for Australia and New Zealand is pre-configured when a site is deployed and already has some suppliers saved in the Payables module. One of these suppliers for New Zealand is the Inland Revenue Department, or IRD as we know it. To view the supplier in MYOB Advanced, let's navigate to the Payables module and under Profiles select Suppliers. We can search for the IRD Supplier form from the search bar or simply select it from the list. On the General Info tab, the IRD Supplier has the Supplier is Tax Agency checkbox selected. Once selected, a new tab, Tax Agency Settings, becomes available. The Tax Agency Settings tab records the settings used to update the tax record and record payments due to or from the IRD. In the Tax Report Settings section, we can specify the default tax period type, and we can select from the following: fortnightly, monthly, 2-monthly, quarterly, 6-monthly, annually, or by financial period. When the defined tax period by end date of financial period checkbox is ticked, taxes will be reported to the tax period to which the end date of the financial period of corresponding documents belongs to. Otherwise, the taxes will be reported to the tax period to which the date of a document belongs to. The Update Close Tax Periods checkbox, when selected, allows for documents to be posted to close tax reporting periods. And the Automatically Generate Tax Bill checkbox allows for the system to automatically generate a payable invoice when payment is due to the IRD, or an AP debit memo when a refund is due from the IRD. Now, we will look at tax reporting to the IRD from MYOB Advanced. The first step in tax reporting to the IRD is the preparation of the tax report. To open the tax report form, we'll navigate to More Items. Under Financials, we'll click on Taxes. From the Taxes menu, select under the Processes section, Prepare Tax Report. The tax period will default to the next open tax period, and the totals of the accounts payable and accounts receivable transactions for this period will be displayed. Before we start preparing a tax report for a tax agency, make sure that the required tax agency has been configured correctly on the supplier's form, and that all taxable documents related to the period being closed have been entered and released. Now we can click on Prepare Tax Report. The Release Tax Report form will open. Before we continue with the release of the tax report, we will look at the second step in tax reporting to the IRD, which is reconciliation. There are two reports we can use to check the figures that are going to be sent to the IRD. First, we will look at the Tax Summary Report. Navigate from the Taxes menu to Reports and select Tax Summary Report. This report shows the summary tax information for the specified tax reporting period for the IRD. Complete the report parameter fields by selecting the tax agency and applicable tax period. Note the status of prepared next to the period we've just run the tax report for. Select this period and run the report. The report lists the tax report lines with their respective amounts and can be saved from here. Now, we'll look at the Tax Details report, also in the Taxes menu under Reports. Complete the report parameters, tax agency, and applicable tax period. And run the report. You'll see that this report displays the individual transactions grouped by document type of the selected reporting period for the IRD. This report, together with the Tax Summary Report, should be analyzed and saved for record-keeping purposes. Once we've checked and reconciled the amounts on the tax reports, we can continue to the third step in the process of tax reporting to the IRD, This step involves the release of the tax report for the reporting period. We use this form to release a tax report prepared for a selected tax agency for the specified tax period. With the release of a tax report, the system closes the tax reporting period and, depending on the supplier settings, generates an AP bill intended for the selected tax agency. The AP bill contains the net tax amount that must be reported to the tax agency. It is important to note that once the tax report is released, it cannot be voided, reversed, or edited. If any documents were posted to the closed reporting period, a new revision of the report can be created with the appropriate tax adjustments automatically generated. The setting to allow postings to closed reporting periods for the particular tax agency is indicated on the Tax Agency Settings tab of the supplier form. The branch, tax agency, and reporting period from the Prepare Tax Report will be updated to the Release Tax Report form. From the Form toolbar, we can adjust tax. Selecting this option will open the Tax Adjustment form, from where a tax adjustment document can be created. It's important to note that the Adjust Tax option is not currently used across Australia and New Zealand. Any adjustments to the reported tax must be made at document level, that is, AP or AR level. Also available from the Form toolbar is the Void Report option. Selecting this option will void the tax report that has the prepared status and will open the corresponding reporting period. Note that if the Update Closed Reporting Periods checkbox is selected on the supplier's form, the reporting period remains closed once a tax report has been voided. Now, let's click on Release to close the tax reporting period and update the return. And that brings us to the fourth and final step in the process of tax reporting to the IRD, printing the goods and service tax return. To open this form, let's navigate from the Taxes menu to Reports and select the Goods and Service Tax Return form. On this form, we need to select the tax agency and the tax reporting period and run the report. A worksheet is produced that calculates the amount of GST owed to or owing from the Inland Revenue Department, and from here the report can be sent or exported. And that covers the 4-step process in tax reporting to the IRD from MYOB Advanced. In closing, we will look at the tax agency supplier transaction. Depending the tax agency setting on the supplier form, once the tax report has been released, MYOB Advanced will automatically generate in this scenario a debit adjustment against the tax agency supplier. Based on the GST calculation, the business will be refunded by the IRD. To view this transaction, let's navigate to the Payables module and under Transactions, select Bills and Adjustments. Now, click on the applicable item to open the details. From the Financial Details tab, the hyperlink to the batch number can be opened, which will display the debit adjustment finance entry. And that brings us to the end of our overview of the Taxes module in MYOB Advanced. Please let us know with your feedback and join us again for more as we explore MYOB Advanced through our training videos. Thank you for watching.